There's no chance to really catch your breath and regroup when you take it to the offensive end because they're pressing you.
I've always loved Syracuse's philosophy. They know it's a 60-minute game. They don't let one small stretch of the game seem to bother them. They play the whole game and play it the way they've always played it, end to end and creative, and just let it go.
Much like the John Wooden philosophy in basketball, the game day is for the players. Monday through Friday, Coach Desko puts in the game plan, tells them where to go, where to be. But game day, there's only so much you can do as a coach.
Here comes Loyola now, 1:20 left in the quarter, tied at 3.
Jim Fink looking for some help.
And Bobby Horsey comes on.
So a good defensive stand again for Loyola with 1:09 left to go in the quarter. It's 3-3.
Now Dave Cottle might want to hang on to possession here. Minute left, be real cautious.
Sure. Certainly wait for your shot.
Yeah.
You need to force it here.
Horsey, a senior, captained his high school lacrosse, football, and basketball teams at Westchester, PA. That's Bobby Horsey right there. 5'9", 185-pound senior. Getting down to the 30-second mark now. And you can see the game plan here. Horsey just takes some time off the clock. Januszkiewicz playing defense on him. Now they go with 10 seconds left into the offensive mode. Now looking for the shot, and Sullivan fires high. 4 seconds left.
Good offensive set there, Quint.
Yeah, they were patient, and then they attacked with about 12 seconds to go. You don't want to take that shot too early because then it'll give Syracuse the possession. Right now, look for them just to throw it in front and watch the lumber that's thrown by the Syracuse defense.
No doubt about it.
Sullivan hustling. Pass front. They got a shot off. Crouch just got a stick on that thing and sent it goalward, but time has expired. It's been a good first quarter. 3 ties, a couple of lead changes, and we're tied at 3 after 1. Second quarter, right after this.
Comes to SUVs and vans, your Toyota dealer has all the right choices. In fact, more SUV choices than anyone, starting with a very affordable RAV4, all new and priced below last year. Toyota, the right one for you.
Hi, you must be Tammy's blind date. I'm Spike, her twin brother. Twin brother, twin brother, twin brother. Tammy, your date's here. Hey, can I offer you a Bud Light?
Sure.
Here you go.
Hi.
Hi.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You smell good.
If you're a high school student who wants to make an ordinary summer extraordinary, think Johns Hopkins University pre-college program. Earn college credits in writing, science, art, government, computer programming, math, and much more from one of the top universities in America. Meet students from around the world and experience college life all before you graduate from high school. This summer, don't think camp. Think college. Think Johns Hopkins University pre-college programs. Call 410-516-4548 or visit our website at www.jhu.edu/summer.
Time to challenge your golf game? Then head to Greystone Golf Course, just 15 minutes north of the Baltimore Beltway. You'll find a world-class layout designed by renowned golf course architect Joe Lee of Doral Blue Monster, recently named one of the top public courses in the country by Golf Week. Greystone provides the atmosphere of a private club at prices that are simply the best golfing value in Baltimore. To reserve your tee time at Greystone, call 410-887-GOLF or on the web at baltimoregolfing.com.
Let's take a look at our 360lacrosse.com stats after 1 quarter.
Quint?
Well, there you see the key for Loyola has been 2 for 2. 2 for 2, you know, first quarter stats.
The stats are
360lacrosse.com.
indicative of how the game is being played. It's 3-3. The stats are even. The scoreboard's
that's
even.
Exactly right.
Sponsored. They tell me to do it. You'll do it, Quint, and you'll like it.
Statistically, wake me at halftime.
Yeah, right. Rodonis with a big face-off there. Let's see if Loyola can clear this one. Struggled at times today, and Jim Fink does just that.
Fink gets it poke-checked away. Ooh, back to Loyola.
Could have went off his knee. Abendroth, Jay Abendroth, the captain, one of the captains of this team, big long pole defenseman from Fayetteville, Manlius in New York. Big lacrosse power up there, right, Quint?
Yep, Syracuse creating some chaos there. The ball's brought over the midfield line. Everyone shuts off, and Abendroth has the freedom to try to take the ball away. He made a great check. Somehow the ball trickled off of him out of bounds.
Sullivan behind the goal, gives it up to Horsey. Syracuse, the defending national champions, won titles in 83, 88, 89, 90, 93, 95, and 2000, and 18 consecutive Final Fours. That's the unbelievable stat.
Amazing. Of course,
continued excellence year in and year out.
16 of those under the direction of Roy Simmons Jr., who John Desko replaced. Quint, yeah, you brought up a great point at the beginning of this game. 4 coaches in the, what, 100-year history or 90-year history of Syracuse lacrosse. That's unbelievable.
Laurie Cox and then Roy Simmons the first, junior. And Coach Desko was an assistant coach here for almost 20 years. Coach Cottle and Coach Desko actually very good friends.
Coach Cottle's voice cracking as he's screaming, "Go get the ball quickly!" Yeah.
And there's another Simmons guys on the bench, Roy Simmons III, Roy Jr.'s son, who played with John Desko and the other assistant coach Kevin Donahue on the same team in the late 1970s.
Sullivan with the ball. He took that last shot that sailed wide.
When we have some time today, guys, there's a new book out called 10 Bears, written by Chip Silverman about the Morgan State University lacrosse team years ago. Very complimentary to Roy Simmons Jr. from Jim Brown's perspective. Interesting part of that book that not a lot of people have really known before. I remember, Scott, when Jim Brown was in town last summer with the Ravens, he spoke at length about his lacrosse days. He said the best time he ever had in sports was playing lacrosse at Syracuse when he came down here to Baltimore at Hopkins and played in the North-South lacrosse game, all-star game.
Horsey behind the goal to Sullivan, looking up top. Brown slows it down, right back to Sullivan. Good defense by Syracuse, just holding their positions.
Syracuse playing either a slough, man-to-man, or a zone defense. It looks actually like a zone. You see all the players bunched up in front of their goaltender.
You know, interesting, I was just looking at Desko and, as big number 40 for Syracuse, one of those big, tall defensemen. Nick Schmitz gets in the way.
Now the Orange trying to clear.
I was just looking at Desko, looking at Cottle, trying to read his mind. Okay, Dave, what are you thinking of? What are you trying to do here? What's your strategy here today? There's Schmitz, who came up with that steal.
Banks plays it back to Springer. It's a one-hand grab. This is Wright, had a goal in the first quarter.
And he's 6'3", 215. I didn't come at you with some size.
Soliday, 6'3", 210. Up front, Springer, 6'4", 210.
Interesting, Quint, they start out.
Oh, not a strong, in the side of the goal. I was going to say, not much on that shot. Thought it was in for a minute, but into the side of the net.
They start out with Banks behind the goal pretty much in the first quarter. Then you bring him out front in the second quarter. Interesting.
Stromberg gets knocked around, but Horsey controls, and Loyola into the attack zone.
Yeah, I thought Powell and Kaufman would carry the ball much more than they are. They're really spreading it out more than I thought they would.
Gunnar Gettleman. And there's a bouncer shot in the score. Gavin Prout, second goal of the game, sneaks it past Mulligan, and Loyola retakes the lead at 4-3.
Prout unassisted, and Mulligan really not seeing the ball particularly well right now. Watch the move, a little left to right, sets his feet. Mulligan got a piece of it.
Yeah,
Prout got taken down, hit his foot. But Prout, great move right there, a little crossover, left to right. Pop, stop, and drop. There's no second help. There's no slide there defensively, no double team. Gavin Prout, couple shots, 2 goals, having a nice game. Loyola really in control right now. Defensively, we must double team Gavin Prout. We've seen him
yes, indeed.
This year tear up teams with the ball on the stick.
And he You could almost sense it, Quint, when he eluded the first man. He had some room, and give him room, it's a goal.
Most of these players are either righties or lefties and can use their offhand. Prout, though, really about 90% a right-handed player. Defensively, you must take away that side.
Tim Pone brings it in. We saw, and we've got a whistle and a timeout call.
Dave Cottle sensed the transition there and wisely calls timeout. Loyola.
Yeah, a lot of momentum.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
A lot of excitement on that side. Hey, they know they're playing the #1 team in the country.
They're hanging tough in the two featured matchups, really. The face-off for Donis, hanging tough with Cersei, and in the goal, Jason Bourne right now outplaying Mulligan.
You know, we talked about Michael Powell. We saw him on the wing grab the last ball off the face-off. I think he was one ground ball off the team.
Yeah.
He does more than set up offense.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And you know, all these players are versatile as we listen to Coach Cottle.
Okay, we'll put our second middies out there. We'll be Gunner, we'll be Brian Tapone and Brad. You're getting out. I'll tell you what, you three become attackmen. Michael, you guys go back, okay? We'll go Van Hassen with the second group. We're just invert the second with the first. You understand? Help each other. Help him with the ball right now. You have a ball, you get it right to Brian Tapone. We go. You got to help him if you got short. Yeah. Okay? You guys are
Last meeting last year, April 7th, up at the Dome in Syracuse. Syracuse 44 shots to 27. As I said, it was 6-3 at the half. 10 goals in the fourth quarter, and Syracuse just dominated. Ryan Powell with 4 goals and 4 assists last year, Mike's brother.
There was a play in that game made by Tim Burns. Remember at the midfield line, Loyola was clearing it, and Burns made the hit, got the ball on the ground, triggered it upfield, and the momentum in that game, it was a game of spurts. And Syracuse just finished that game on a tremendous run.
As they did last year in the NCAA championship game against Princeton. I remember close game early, and then they just hit another gear, and Princeton was unable to stay with them.
Well, Loyola with the lead in the ball right now. Sullivan in possession. Loyola on top 4-3. Sullivan looking up front, knocked away and controlled by Syracuse. Loyola led 2-1, 3-2, and now 4-3.
Solomon Bliss, number 33, with that check, which created the loose ball. Nice defense from number 33. Here's Abendroth, number 47.
Gives it off to Banks.
Boy, and you see Banks' head, Quint. Man, just looking for a cutter, looking for a cutter.
Brasco, the long stick right on him. Some changes for Syracuse as Kaufman comes back in. Tom Hardy.
Looks like their second midfield in the game right now.
Yeah, Powell's down on attack right now. Kaufman has swung up to the midfield.
This is Hogan.
Get it, Josh. Go behind.
Back up top to Hardy. Hardy gets a step, and then Horsey picks him up. Oh, right in front. Where is it? They couldn't find it.
Guys, that was Gavin Prout who got a stick on the ball. Unbelievable. He sensed the pass because right before that he was in the double team, slid back to help out. Great play.
Springer was looking in the goal.
That was a nifty pass because it caught everyone off guard except for Prout. They asked Gavin Prout to play both ends of the field, clear the ball. He's Mr. Everything for Loyola.
If he's got anything left at the end of this game, I got a hunch it's going to be a game.
This is Chris Summers, the sophomore from Annapolis, Mary's High School.
And as you can see, this game has slowed to a crawl. Loyola, their other 5 players literally standing around. Now they start to cut.
Loyola's only taken 5 shots. They've dropped the ball on the doorstep a couple times, but they have 4 goals on 5 shots right now.
Gettleman tries to duck the defense. Looking for a cutter, nobody home.
With great defense that time by Syracuse.
Syracuse playing kind of a man-to-man behind the cage, and in front, it's almost like a zone. They're just covering an area, watching for cutters.
There's a jump shot and the score. The Greyhounds.
I think it was Summers. Yeah.
As you called it, the jump shot, and John Desko looking to put a Band-Aid on the bleeding so far. It's 8:10 left, 5-3 Loyola.
Here's the pass. Gettleman down low to Summers. A little Olay draws the defense. Took the wrong angle. Summers with a little pump fake. Jump shot over Mulligan, who does not have any answers so far this afternoon.
And if there was a rebound, Gavin Prout was right there.
Right there.
5-3 Loyola on top of number 1 Syracuse.
When it comes to cars, Toyota has it all. Better quality, better value, and all the right choices. Starting with one of the lowest priced cars in America. Toyota, the right one for you.
A lot of people think this is a black man's disease.
I'm too young.
I'm in great shape.
You hear the word cancer and you think life is over.
I heard if you didn't have insurance, there was nothing you could do to prevent it.
Colorectal screening is available for everyone. If you are without insurance, call 1-866-MD-COLON. This message is brought to you by the Anne Arundel, Carroll, Harford, and Baltimore Counties Health Departments. Under Armour, performance apparel for the world's greatest athletes and those who aspire to join them.
Let's take a look at our Warrior Trivia question. When Syracuse beat Loyola last year, it ended the Hound streak of consecutive regular season wins. How long was that streak?
I know Loyola's senior class coming into this season
wait a minute. You just
had a record of 36-6 over their first 3 years here at Loyola College. That's the best winning percentage of any school in the country, the senior class.
Wow.
I'm not answering the question, obviously, but
30s.
It's in the 30s, yeah.
30s seems like a number we talked about last year. 5-3, big draw here. Loyola tries to keep momentum, and Syracuse tries to reverse it, and the Orangemen control.
Prout was on that draw with Cersei.
One more thing for him to do, right?
If in doubt,
Can I play goal too, Coach?
Yeah. If in doubt, Gavin Prout.
Rolling out to Kaufman.
But you know, guys, against a team like Syracuse, you're a marquee player who've got to step it up. And, man, Gavin Prout has done that, as has Sullivan and Summers today. I think both of those guys have played well.
And in a game against Syracuse, your marquee guys want to step.
Oh, absolutely.
They want more. Give me the ball. You know, we're playing the best.
I'm sure all week this week Dave Cottle challenged his better players, particularly challenged his upperclassmen to step it up.
Oh, Hoffman couldn't handle it. He was all cranked up and ready to fire, but didn't have the ball.
Hoffman does not seem like himself today. He's really been a non-factor, only has 1 assist, but he's not getting many touches and not taking any shots.
Greyhounds lead Syracuse 5-3. Syracuse only lost this year, came at home, a 1-goal loss and a great game with Hopkins.
Well, that was a great game. Eric Whedon with 5 goals in that game. We'll see him next week against Maryland.
In the pass out front and a shot from Soliday sails high.
Soliday lost his footing on the plant. He planted with his left foot, much like a kicker. When you go to kick the ball, you plant. Same thing in lacrosse. When you shoot, you plant with that front foot. His foot gave out, and the defense was right there. That's why the shot went over the goal.
Soliday, a high school teammate of Cersei. This is Michael Powell. Wright has it poked away.
If I'm not mistaken, did not A.J. Hogan was on that same team? That's a pretty good team right there.
I think Testa played.
Testa for a year.
From Bethpage also.
May not want to schedule them.
Syracuse still leads in shots. Loyola leads on the scoreboard. Biggest lead of the game so far at 5-3 in that kind of game.
Kaufman draws a double. Now they slide off.
You know, the Syracuse team trying to win this game in a half-court set because Loyola's dictating the tempo. I still think Syracuse needs transition to win. They need to do some things defensively, take some chances. Give them.
What a great goal. Powell got it to Spencer Wright, who went behind the head, but Michael Powell created that goal. But a nice finish from Spencer Wright, his second goal, and this is spectacular stuff.
Powell on the far side, his head's up, the little flip pass. Spencer Wright behind the back. Everything flows through Mike Powell. When I got to watch Syracuse play down in Florida against Fairfield, you sat there and you said, wow, Powell had something like 6 or 7 points out of the 11 or 12 Syracuse goals. He had a direct impact, either a ground ball, an assist, or a goal on so many of their plays, and you can see his impact on that play. Spencer Wright with the finish, but the play was really generated by the quick Mike Powell.
Mike Powell with a goal and 2 assists in this game. In every game Syracuse has played this year, the freshman has had at least 4 points, minimum.
And Spencer Wright, you wonder if he learned that behind the back pass in San Diego where he grew up, or that was passed down to him at Syracuse.
What's the story on that one, Quinn?
You don't see too many San Diego alumni at
beach lacrosse.
He's an athlete, and the kids are playing out there in San Diego and San Francisco now.
5-4, the lead cut to 1. That's the kind of goals the fans come to see, Keith.
Yes, indeed. That's a great play.
Here come the Greyhounds in transition. Ray Erickson.
My point about Syracuse in transition, you go back to last week, Towson, they were giving up goals left and right, but they controlled the tempo.
Absolutely.
They made it up tempo, and in the long run, they won because of that. They wore Loyola out. Syracuse, they want to play 6-on-6 today. I think that's just going to keep this game close.
Yeah. Turnovers, 8-7, Syracuse with 8, Loyola with 7. That's a big stat. I think the more and more I watch this game, the more and more that stat comes into play because of the possession-oriented style of games we see.
Without a shot clock.
Crowd fakes the pass, drives to the goal. Oh, he was getting
Scott,
worked
you see how quick Solomon Bliss, number 33, was ready to help there. As Quinn said, don't let him get, one time if he beats you one-on-one, that's one, but not twice.
Like Pratt was getting clotheslined.
Yeah.
Quick move. Pratt looking in front.
Dangerous right here.
Yeah. Here come the Orangemen. Michael Powell flying upfield to Banks.
Oh, great
Banks
pass.
great pass. And a great save. Scramble in front of the goal.
Jason Bourne robs Kaufman from the near side. Kaufman with 2 fakes. Bourne sprawling to the turf, made the kick save. That was reminiscent of last week. Loyola would turn the ball over and Towson would break. Syracuse does it. This time Banks to Kaufman. Watch the save by Jason Bourne. Keep your eye on his left foot right there.
Boy, how good was that? And then just trying to cover up in all that traffic. 5-4, Loyola leads by 1. We got a dandy.
Match time is scheduled for 4 p.m.
A bank is more than just a place to keep your money. It's a part of your community and a part of your life. At Baltimore County Savings Bank, we take pride in the communities we serve and are growing to meet their changing needs. That's why Baltimore County Savings Bank now offers free checking with no minimum balance and no monthly service charges. Visit one of our 10 convenient locations in Hartford and Baltimore County today for more information. Baltimore County Savings Bank, locally owned and operated, growing to meet your needs.
I'm Casey Powell for 360lacrosse.com.
Hopkins, Maryland, women's lacrosse, next Saturday at 5 on 2 Sports.
All right, the answer to our Warrior trivia question: when Syracuse beat Loyola last year, ended the Hound streak of consecutive regular season wins. There's your answer. 30 games, second longest in NCAA Division I history. I think we had...
now you know the rest of the story.
This story, it's been a good first half. Loyola on top of the Orange 5-4, a little under 4 minutes left in the half.
Scott, interesting note, Syracuse only allowed 12 first half goals all year, and they've given up 5 already today. So 6 games, 6.5.
Kaufman stepped right into the crease. The ref was there.
And there's a flag now.
He threw 2.
A double slash.
Brian Abbott with the call. The head football coach at St. Paul's a couple of weeks ago, I said he was the former coach at St. Paul's. He's still there.
It's going to be a slash on, I think, Brasco, number 7. This is after Powell stepped in the crease. But watch Brasco come from behind. Keep your eye on number 7. Right, that must have been the call right there.
I still don't see it. Do you?
I don't see it either. That was great defense.
Hit the stick
in my book.
You look at John Desco doing some teaching and coaching. 32-7 his record since he took over.
Shutoffs. Right now, Mike, if there's a shutoff on you, all we know what to do, right, Spencer? We're just going to run the play anyway. So go right through it. Michael, you'll make the cut down on the cutter and then back it out. All right, just take him out of the play if there's a shutoff. Same thing with you. Now, Mike, if they're shutting off the view on this, come out further. It opens up the pass for the skip pass.
Hey, don't put any formation when you walk out there yet. Just stay together. Don't let them see.
That was John Zilberti with the Fu Manchu mustache. Next Saturday, STX Boys Latin Invitational at Boys Latin. Look at these schools. Landed 20-time DC area champions against Upper Arlington, winner of 5 straight Ohio titles. They'll play at 11. And then Boys Latin will play Yorktown from Westchester County, New York. And week after week, we see great Yorktown players.
Yeah, sure.
Who are you pulling for in that tournament?
Well, it should be, actually, there's no college lacrosse next Saturday during the day here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Not a single game.
You didn't answer my question. Who are you pulling for?
I'm pulling for some good games, actually.
We should point
Spoken like a true assistant from Boys Latin.
Boys Latin, right?
I don't focus on the competition.
I'm anxious to see the Upper Arlington team because, again, we see those kids from Columbus week after
Look
week.
out. There's a shot and a score. Good pass inside, and Brian Nee went down low, and we are tied at 5.
Brian Nee, the extra man specialist, his 11th goal of the season. No assists on about 20 shots. He's shooting about 60%. The left-hander takes this assist from Spencer Wright down low, beating Bourne from point-blank range. Nee comes off the bench and does his job.
Well, Brian Nee, who played at Boys Latin, 6 extra man goals for him on the season now.
But those games, getting back to those games real quick, how many players do we see from those 4 schools week after week
all
after
over
week?
the country? And I believe either next week or the week after, Carthage High School, the Pals school, is coming down here to play Mount Hebron at Hopkins, which should be an interesting afternoon of lacrosse.
Now Syracuse, they had it for a second. Now it's loose again, and here's Powell taking it on the fly, and look at him go.
Oh, man.
Michael Powell head up right out in front, and another good save from Bourne. Hoffman from point-blank range was denied.
Bourne has bailed Loyola out twice.
Better yet was the outlet pass, I thought, to create this transition opportunity here. Yeah, you're right, Quinn. Big
Bourne
play.
has 2 great saves, and we got another timeout on Loyola's side as the turnover is happening, so Loyola will maintain possession. Twice now, Jason Bourne has robbed Kaufman from close range. But what about Michael Powell in the midfield?
Oh.
You better tape your ankles. I mean, the quickness, back and forth, and the speed.
Michael Powell, just a freshman, 5'10", 160-pounder. His brothers, greats at Syracuse, Casey and Ryan Powell. And there's Dave Cottle with 2:54 left. His Greyhounds are tied with Syracuse, 5-all.
You know, guys, we talked about this last year when we were up at Syracuse, and the Pals legacy obviously is something, but the whole Syracuse lacrosse legacy, we mentioned Jim Brown, John Mackey, the ex-Colt,
Joe Ehrman
played lacrosse for Roy Simmons. So at that time there was no spring football, so the football coaches used it for conditioning, and Jim Brown just happened to be, arguably, some say, the greatest of all time. I never saw him, obviously, but
yeah, he was a Division I athlete back then, playing in a sport where he was light years ahead from an athletic standpoint.
And I didn't know this, but I read it in this book I was telling you about. He was from Manhasset High School in Long Island.
Played track and field also at Syracuse, where he'd do both in an afternoon. He'd go to lacrosse practice and then go sprint with the track team.
Well, years ago, when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Roy Simmons Jr. and Sr. attended the banquet, and he introduced Roy Simmons Sr. as his favorite coach ever. And, it's interesting for a guy who played for Blanton Collier and the great coaches he played for.
His biggest problem
Paul Brown, sure.
Brown's biggest problem as a lacrosse player was back in the wooden stick days. He was a face-off man. He would break his sticks. That's how strong he was. He would consistently break his stick during the draw.
Unbelievable. He still looks like he could play, too, let me tell you. Intimidating presence.
Syracuse now looks to be in a zone defense here off the timeout.
Horsey with it. 2.5 minutes left in the first half.
They are.
Horsey looking for some help.
Little cat and mouse game off the timeout. Loyola puts in a set play. Syracuse counters by dropping back in his own defense. Short term, a good move, but I still think long term, Syracuse got to get out and create some tempo in this game.
Prout getting worked over by the long stick behind the goal, trying to use his quickness. Now Gettleman with it. Under 2 minutes left in the first half. Loyola ranked number 10, Syracuse number 1.
No shot clock in lacrosse. At about the 45-second mark of each possession, the referees will encourage the offense to go to the goal. If they don't, the referees then will raise their hand, and Loyola will be forced to keep it in the offensive box.
Greyhounds working the perimeter now. Sullivan with it. Back over to Gettleman. Well, too many orange shirts right in front of that goal. They can't find anybody out front.
Loyola now must keep the ball in the offensive box. The referees have warned them for stalling.
You can see the referee's hand up, as Quint mentioned. And there's a shot, Horsey on goal, and a save from Mulligan. It's like he got the knees together, the legs together, and made the save.
Mulligan is definitely not sharp. That wasn't a particularly excellent shot. You can see he struggled. No stick movement towards that shot. He was lucky that Horsey hit him in the leg. It wasn't anything Mulligan did. Horsey just hit him in the thigh.
Under a minute. Sullivan near side, Gettleman. We'll check it at Sullivan. Now Horsey with it.
Let's get to the street sideways. Get to the sideways.
A lot of instruction from the coaches. Down to 30 seconds.
Loyola intent on making this a one-possession half right here.
There's a shot and a score, and Loyola takes the lead as Michael Sullivan pings one. 6-5 Greyhounds. Sullivan's third point of the game, 2 goals and an assist.
Sullivan on the near side beats the left-hander Mulligan to the near side. He sneaks this on the inside pipe. Brundage will get the assist. That is just poor goaltending by Mulligan. You must take away the near side. This angle will show. Watch him come off the post, and he beats him near pipe. Great shot by Michael Sullivan, who's having a career day. What a possession for Loyola. They started that possession about the 2-minute mark, off the timeout. They use a minute and a half and even score a goal.
Dave Cottle wishes they would have used about 20 more seconds as Syracuse has possession. They'll get one last run at him. Michael Powell with it. Syracuse has not trailed at the half this year. Right now they're down a goal in the final seconds. Here comes Powell with that quickness. Gets a step. And now it's stolen away by the Greyhounds, and that's going to end the half. So an impressive first half. Loyola runs off the field with a lot of excitement. Their fans on their feet. Greyhounds have a 1-goal lead over top-ranked Syracuse, and it's the first time this year that Syracuse has been down at the half. It's only a goal, but still they haven't been in this position.
Face-offs have been a push. Jason Bourne with 3 or 4 monumental saves, and they're capitalizing. Mulligan, Syracuse goalie, certainly not sharp.
All right, let's go down to Keith Mills down on the field.
Yeah, with me, John Desker. John, you knew coming down here was going to be a dogfight, and that's what you're in, right?
Well, every time we come here, you know, Coach Cottle's always got his team prepared for the Orangemen, and they're doing it today. They're being patient offensively. We knew we were going to see some inverts. You know, on the verge of being very patient with the ball on offense, but we're going to have to be a little bit smarter defensively and step up the pace a little bit, try to push this first midfield of theirs.
Okay, John, thanks so much. John Desko, the head coach of the defending national champions, his team down by a goal. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Toyota Lacrosse Game of the Week, brought to you by STX, fastest game, finest gear. Black's World, the Lacrosse Superstore, and Baltimore County Savings Bank. Come home to Baltimore County Savings Bank.